What up, what up, what up? It's your boy DJ William WES. Welcome. First, let me cheers to you, man. Let me cheers to you. Salud, papa.
Salud.
Salud. Red Cup boys. Welcome to Live in the Garage. First episode. It's been a long time coming. 10 years to be exact.
Damn.
10 years I've been putting this on hold. Season 1 came out back in 2008. We can get into that history. But, first of all, I want to say we just went live on Instagram Live. Shout out to everybody who was tuned in. I got my brother right here, DJ Epic, everybody.
Hey, what's good? You know what? I got to say, I'm excited to be here. I'm really excited to be out here. But, bro, I feel like I'm not taking it as seriously as you, bro. Like, you out here sweating and shit. You putting in work, bro. I feel like I'm just cool, calm, and collected. You out here struggling, working. I made you plug in the mixer earlier, bro. I'm just saying.
Okay. Well, see, I was...
What happened was, you could tell him I was late.
So
I was a little bit late.
So
just a little bit.
I wasn't gonna bust you out. I was actually gonna start professionally, but let me give you some background information
Some
on that
context.
On that last mix that we just did. Again, this is Live in the Garage. We do a mix in the beginning and then a interview at the end. So the first part is a mix. We went live on Instagram. I told this guy, just aim for 11 a.m. 12 p.m. so we can knock it out early. We started at damn near 4 p.m.
Who was in here at 4? Who was in here at 4?
So my boy was late. On top of that, his laptop wasn't working with the equipment here. For those who don't know, if you have the newest version of your computer OS, it's not gonna rock with the older shit, and it's not in between. So if you're using Scratch Live, or if you're using Serato Scratch Live is not going to work very well. So, long story short, I had to make a little last minute switcheroo. I was sweating
Some
because
adjustments.
I was like, man, come on, man. Like, you have nothing ready, bro. Like, for real. But no, we still knocked it out and we still had fun and tuned in. Shout out to everybody again, tuned in, that was reacting and having fun. On
that live feed.
So that mix is gonna be up pretty soon after this interview, man. So thank you. My brother, DJ Epic, is here.
Hey.
Representing San Francisco Mission District.
What's poppin'?
Stand up. That's my second home. Stand up. I want to start by saying there's not too many people in this industry that I can really call my brother. And Live in the Garage means a lot to me. It's more than just the words, right? We did a lot of projects together in this very same room, people. That's what Live in the Garage is. This is my room where I create, I have fun, we're creatives, we collaborate, and we just do stuff on the fly, have fun. There's no monetary gain. I mean, we're here because this is what we do.
It's all love.
It's all love. And Live in the Garage, every single episode, I'm gonna emphasize on that. But we have an actual throwback picture in this very same room, in this position right here. For those who are watching visually, man, we were. Let me just take it back to those times.
How long ago was that, bro? How long ago was that?
That was 2005.
Wow.
2005. I want to say. I want to give a huge shout out to MySpace. For those who hate on MySpace, you hate on MySpace. But let me tell you why I want to give a shout out to MySpace.com. For those who were creating at a young age, and when MySpace first came out, it put us kids in a position to put our projects out globally, beyond our reach of our local area, house parties, garage parties, you name it, right? It put us on the map, so to speak, and we had fun with it because people from Ireland were listening, tuned in, Puerto Rico, you name it, South America, Africa. It didn't matter, right? But what I want to get into is that shout to MySpace, because me and this guy right here, we put a project together on MySpace specifically called 10 Minute Tuesdays. Please talk about 10 Minute Tuesdays, man. Because that was specifically for MySpace only.
Right.
When MySpace created a music player.
Right.
And then they took it to another level, which was mind-blowing. They allowed you to upload a track up to 10 minutes.
Right. Yeah. So
talk about it.
It initially started where if you had a MySpace page, you could somehow set your page up to play music. I don't know if you were an artist or somehow, but it would be where you would play a song. So it would be for an artist. If I was a rapper, I would play one song, and then there would be a list of songs, so a whole set, like 5 songs. Well, for me, it made more sense to play a whole 10-minute mix, which was the allotted time for you to fucking upload something. So 10 minutes of anything you wanted. To me, it made sense. It was like, okay, I'm gonna fucking upload 10 minutes of music every week. People aren't hiring me like I want them to. I'm not out in the club or out just being seen or heard by people like I want to be seen. So let me take it into my own hands and let me fucking make a mix. Let me upload the mix. And slowly we developed something that was 10 Minute Tuesdays. 10 Minute Tuesdays was something that we made where it was literally 10 minutes. Every week it was something brand new. It was something brand new. We would make skits. Like,
super
I don't know if
fun.
you remember the skits. We're
so
off the
fun.
hook. The music genre was totally different every week. The skits were different. It was just a different vibe, a different element every week. And slowly we started building on it. It was music, and then we started adding like video elements to promote the mix that was coming up for next week. And then we'd incorporate like other DJs to come with us.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it would be like a DJ Epic / DJ Scratch and Sniff, so and so mix, hosted by Willie Will. It was just we would build on it.
Shout to
and that's what it was. Man.
Shout to DJ Lex Rated.
Yes,
who I look up to a lot out here. We did a house mix. It was all classic house.
Right here on these same turntables
in
the same
here.
room.
In here in this room, and it's just so fun. And that you mentioned that DJ Scratch and Sniff. DJ Scratch and Sniff is not a real DJ, by the way, but
He might be.
But yeah, and we did skits. I had my sister involved. You had your cousin involved.
That was cool, bro.
Yeah. The paper maker, Bundle Boys. Let me take it back to a time where we first met, man, because I think when we first met, it was a very, 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 very important time as young DJs, man. I got to give a shout out to my cousin Warren, and my cousin David, who put me onto you. I was at a young age trying to get into the club scene. You know what I mean? I was doing house parties. I was doing quinceañeras. I was doing all the things that you can think of when it comes to mobile gigs.
Yep.
And then I got turned out to San Francisco. One of the first clubs that I got turned out to was City Nights.
Yeah.
Shout out to
City Nights. Because of your family. Because of the family.
Yeah. Shout out to City Nights. A lot of things happen. Thank you, City Nights. Yeah. But most importantly, when I first met you, reggaeton was coming to the U.S. And I want to definitely paint this picture that reggaeton was so brand new, my G. And I remember when I first met you, we were chilling on an old-ass computer listening to Tego Calderon. I don't know if you remember that day. My memory is pretty good.
Okay.
Let me paint the picture. That by the way, that was off of like LimeWire, so I'm pretty sure that computer had 1,000 viruses.
Hella viruses. Hella pop-ups. Just
Porn, pop-ups, all that
sorts
shit,
of shit.
right? We listened to the first track that I ever heard, and I remember this vividly. It was A Vallarde, the first track off of Tego Calderon's first album. That's so soulful, so good. That track is so good. That's my favorite Tego Calderon track forever. But fast forward a little bit. So when I first met you, we clicked up. We ended up working together, and we did clubs together. I got introduced to the whole crew. Reggaeton SF later turned into Urban Royalties. Got put onto you. Shout to DJ DL1, DJ Rigo, DJ Happy. The list goes on. Lando, IQ, all the people that I worked with, that we worked with, that we opened up for, held crates for, you name it. DJ Domino forever. I got my DJ Domino shirt on right now one time, you know what I mean? So that's my brother, man. Rest in peace forever. But at that very, very moment in time, reggaeton first hit. My first artist that I heard, Don Omar, Daddy Yankee, Evie Queen, Nicky Jam. So talk to me about that time, and then we'll go into a little bit more what I want to actually make a point of, because me and you, along with the collective DJs that I just mentioned, were the first DJs to rock parties in the Bay Area and bring these artists to the Bay Area for the first time.
Right.
This is history that I definitely want to touch upon, because I'm passionate about that shit, and I want to just let people know that, we put in work, not knowing what was going on around us, but it was all love. Again, it was all love. Talk to me about those times, man, when I first met you, and then it got into that vibe of that brand new sound that we were hearing.
Yeah. Well, definitely, I want to shout out. Dave. I want to shout out Warren, Roy. I met those guys at O'Connell in San Francisco. I met Warren, to be exact.
O'Connell.
Warren was, I believe, he was like the team captain of the wrestling team.
Team Sucio.
So I met Will through Warren. You guys were cousins, and then I met Dave through Warren. Just partying and shit. And these guys were always older than me. Like, you were always older than me. Warren was like two.
Not by a lot. Don't put me up there.
Or my bad, OG. By a couple years. And I remember around that time. This was probably like around 2002, 3, 4. I graduated in 2004. It was like we would constantly party in the Taurus. I remember the Taurus was like the whip to be in every weekend, no matter where we had to go.
I smobbed in it.
Out to fucking Fresno. We'd come back. We was everywhere in the Taurus. And I specifically remember the album, like the soundtrack for that whip was the Tego Calderon soundtrack. Like the Abayarde album was the fucking soundtrack for the whole experience in that car. We got into some crazy ass like fender bender in the Mission one time. Like, some dude made a turn and he hit us, but he was drunk. We weren't drunk, and he smashed off on us.
You guys laughed at me.
We was it was just me and you. We was slapping the Tego. One time, shout out to Cito from Miami. He was out here. We was with him. We was with Hugo. We was with Lando.
Chingo Bling was there too.
Where did we drive to? We drove
Fresno.
We drove to Fresno.
Fairgrounds.
From the city. We had like a bunch of the Leroy t-shirts. We had a gang of Leroy t-shirts.
Shout out to Leroy.
We drove all the way to Fresno. Like, it was a car show. So we did that in the Taurus. We was slapping the Tego. I remember going to raves. We was slapping the Tego. I remember going to City Nights. The City Nights with Drew, when we would be out there with Domino, we were slapping the Tego. Like, bro, the Tego Calderon was like the beginning of all of this. This was prior to the Live in the Garage, prior to the Aswan, the Urban Royalties, the Reggaeton SF. It was like that album. I would probably say that you put me on to reggaeton music.
Really?
Through Tego, through that album, through that car, just through that era. It was like that whole 2001.
So it was embedded.
3. Definitely, bro. Like
that's dope.
If
man.
that
that's
didn't
dope.
happen, it probably wouldn't have. It probably would have shaped my DJ, like what I play now, differently. You know what I mean? Because everything that I play up until this point is a collective of music that has been pushed upon me, or that I've just somehow
soaked in.
Yeah, somehow soaked
As a
in
sponge.
through the years. School, family was a big deal. Friends, absolutely friends. And if it wasn't for you and for that time, I wouldn't have had the Tego. I wouldn't have had the reggaeton SF. You know what I mean? Me and Art, me and Mr. Travel, we probably would have never hooked up, and it wouldn't have been, what it is now. You know what I mean? Like I feel like if it wasn't for Art, I met Art through Leroy. Well, I met Art through some program that me and Leroy had. We were supposed to paint a mural in the Mission. I met Art, then I met Leroy, then I met Lando. Through Art, I met Rigo, which put me onto fucking literally all of the club shit. If it wasn't for Rigo, if it wasn't for Art, if it wasn't for Mr. Travel, I would have never met Rigo. And if it wasn't for Rigo, I would have never connected with DL1.
That's crazy.
With Jared, with everyone from As1, and then and then you keep going. The Juan Buenos, the fucking, the big sexies. It just goes on and on and on.
That's a story that I've never heard, and you're my brother, man. And I want to give a shout to Mr. Travel,
bro, definitely, for sure, absolutely,
the
bro.
number one creeper on Instagram, by the way.
He follows you. You just don't know he follows you, but he follows you for sure.
He follows you, best believe. And best believe. Check this out, best believe. When he likes your picture, it means more than just that liking that picture.
No, yeah, but definitely.
That's dope. That's dope.
It grew from that point. It grew from the Avallarde days, from the Taurus, in the backseat of the Taurus, to
that's my mom's old car, man. I would steal that car. I would steal.
It was our car, bro. Like it didn't mean shit. It was our wit, bro. We was at parties. We was at frat parties. We were raves. We were at raves. Like you name it, we were there. And so if it started at that point and it progressed and it slowly evolved into what you see now, into Live in the Garage 2018, to you DJing in Concord, the Nika Lounge, you doing
shout out to Nika Lounge,
just everything. I feel like if it wasn't for that era in time, just the little things that fell into place, none of this shit would have happened. And if it did happen, it would have been so different that it probably wouldn't have never been the same.
Man, that's good to hear, man.
You know what I mean?
That's
so
good to hear.
I feel like that was a really important time in our lives, and just in general. Really.
I think the only DJ that I envy right now is DJ Epic. By the way, I really don't care about what other DJs are doing. I don't care about what other people are doing in this industry.
Stop.
But the one dude I do envy, because he's bringing this up, is that he actually got to interview DJ Calderon, Tego Calderon. He got to specifically be in an intimate space in his trailer, if I'm not mistaken, in Puerto Rico, and you were able to finesse your way in as a journalist.
Yes.
No. But I respect that, my G, because ever since then I was like, yo, like, what do I got to do to top this dude? Like, I can't top that. That's my favorite artist, by the way. My favorite reggaeton artist, Latin artist, hip hop artist, whatever it may be, is Tego Calderon. And y'all already know. If y'all know me very well, Tego Calderon is dear to my heart. But talk to me. How did you finesse your way into that whole situation? Or if there was any finessing at all?
I mean, really, that was my uncle, man. Shout out to Uncle Pep.
Hey,
he
Pep.
was the
Pink
really,
Palace.
Yeah, for sure. He was really instrumental in what had happened in PR. I want to say this was like my sophomore year, 2001, maybe, when I went to PR for the very first time. And Tego Calderon was doing an album release party the day before his album dropped. So for the underdog, el subestimado, in PR, this was in PR.
I would say, is that his best album? No, I mean, my favorite album is El Vallarde, pero
I mean, the timing on it was, this was when we were well into our DJ career.
Yeah.
We were well into.
We were already doing clubs and all that.
We were already, we had already gotten rid of the Taurus. We were already onto the next fucking Tego album. And so we went out to Puerto Rico to film a documentary. So my aunt, shout out to King Theo. We were out there. We filmed a documentary. The documentary was built upon it was a fam documentary, so film, art, and music. So we went out there. We interviewed people that had to do with film, people who were Puerto Rican, who had
dope.
films, who were popping political films. I don't know, whatever type of films, art. There were artists who we interviewed who had pieces, who had actual art pieces on the strip, who were displaying art on the strip, and film art and music. And we did music, which one of them was Tego. And there was nobody in the group who was able to rock with that interview except for me. So the whole time I was like, okay, for sure, we're going to interview Tego. It's cool. I went out there as a sound guy. So I would mic you up. If it was your interview, I would put on the mic and then I would record it, or I would hold the boom. But this interview was special because no one else really knew what was going on. No one else knew the discography or
his history, his music history.
They didn't know. And to be honest with you, I didn't really know either. But I just fucking freaked it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was out there. I tried.
Kept it funky.
I kept it real funky, all the way funky. And so it was a good look. And that's what it was. And it was a really awesome experience. It was fucking cool. It was amazing. I did that, and it was fucking cool, bro. Like, you know, it was just one of those things where you in the right place, the right time, and it just worked.
And what's really funky about that story is that prior to that meeting, Teo Calderon, we were part of a DJ collective that brought Teo Calderon to the Bay Area, and we promoted that party. So that was bringing Teo Calderon along with Zion y Lennox, Voltio, who I respect highly, Cito Rocks from Miami.
Hey.
Even Keek the Sneak performed at that performance
Yes.
at the Santa Clara Fairgrounds.
Yes.
So, and we were, me and you were like behind the I would say the gates, trying to say hi to Teo Calderon. You know what I mean? Like,
definitely.
Like, we're like, we couldn't even get close to the dude, and we're like, yo, what's up? We big fans. And then he goes into the darkness, and we never see him again.
What about the time? I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah.
When we were at the Sound Factory, bro. I have this thing about recording things. Back in the day, I used to record like everything. Like, we'd be in the parking lot, I'd record it. We were smoking, I'd record it
for no reason.
So this time it was you and I.
Before blogging was cool.
Oh no, absolutely, for sure. Way before that.
Before podcasts and blogging was cool.
Before Tumblr was popping.
Yes.
Before YouTube was like, you know, you was asking for subscribers and shit. It was like MySpace days.
It's just random.
Sure. So we were at the club. And there was
chill with the tap and chill with the tap.
We couldn't get into the club for some reason. Our player pass had been revoked, right? Our player pass had been revoked.
No,
something had happened.
You can't come in.
Our way of getting in was through the back, so we had to sneak in the back. We literally watched people walking through the front. They walk in, they had handshakes and shit, walking through the front. Probably after standing around for about an hour or so, we'd go through the back of the Sound Factory. If you're familiar with the Sound Factory, it's a club that's literally right at the freeway entrance.
The very end.
It's a freeway entrance right before you get on the freeway to the Bay Bridge. So literally,
there's nowadays.
There's a street, and then there's a fucking freeway in the back. So what I did was I went to the back where the freeway was. I went all the way to the back. I climbed into the fucking... There was like a VIP room, a green room. There was a green room. I went to the green room. Next thing you know, I was in the club. I was dancing and shit. And I realized I'm behind the stage. Like, okay, I'm in the club. Not only am I in the club, I'm behind the stage. So now I'm like, fuck, okay, for sure.
And you don't dance too much, but
no.
To be saying that you dance,
I was in the back.
That's crazy.
You got to fit in, you know what I mean? If you're in the back and you don't know what the fuck's going on, you're just gonna keep wiggling. Like, okay, I'm in here.
Yeah, we out here.
This was probably like well after the Reggaeton SF event. After I went to PR, this was like way after that shit. But it was the funniest shit ever to see, and I still have this shit on video. On little tiny DVDs that are like this big. I still have this shit on video. The fact that we fucking had to go through all these maneuvers to fucking get to a spot to then get shout out to Eric Dembo, who was actually headlining. He was DJing.
Eric Dembo.
Shout out to Eric Dembo.
He did all the dope parties. He did all the dope parties.
He did, for sure.
He did. If there was an artist that was performing, Dembo was there.
He was a man.
I hate you, Dembo. I hate you.
No, but it was a good look though. It was a good look. It's just, you know, over the years, all the shit we've been through from the Taurus to the album to going to PR to fucking, you know, just it was a good look.
To add to that, in these clubs, Sound Factory. You're talking about Sound Factory.
Yeah.
You're talking about Snowdrift. You're talking about Mission Rock. You're talking about Fine Estampa. Yeah. You're talking about shit, everything down the line in the Bay Area. Mind you, we were not 21.
That's real.
And that's another real thing that I respect for you, my brother. My brother right here, he did it before me. He was in these clubs, rocking these clubs, these 21 and up clubs, and he wasn't 21.
Hey, that's real. That's
the real. Sound Factory. We snuck into that motherfucker. We snuck into that.
No. That's real. That the show that you were talking about when we did with Tego Calderon, Zion and Lennox, Joel and Randy,
even that,
Keek the Sneak. That was at the Santa Clara Fairgrounds. We had an after party. Reggaeton SF had the official after party at the Sound Factory, which was literally the concert in San Jose, and then we would smack back to downtown San Francisco at the Sound Factory.
Roughly about an hour away.
This was probably, and there's a picture of me, you, and Drew in the DJ booth that night, that same fucking night. And I remember that they had to get there was like contractually they had to get someone from the radio station to headline the club event if they wanted the radio station to promote radio commercials and shit during the day. So the person they chose, the station chose, was Leslie Perez. Shit. Leslie Perez that was the closer. He was closing that night at the factory. Which made sense because at that point in time, it was either Jazzy Jim or Leslie Perez who were closing at the factory. That's just standard. So LP closed. It was me, you, and Drew. I think we all got there at the same time, but the cold part was that I was the youngest out of everybody. I'm sure you guys are probably already 18. I wasn't 18. You guys are probably already 21. I wasn't 21. So it was always
I was 21 before you.
It was always a matter of like having to get there. No, definitely not that far.
Not far off.
It was definitely a matter of having to get there, having to situate what the fuck's going to happen, where I'm going to come in from, if I'm going to come in, you know, through the back or what the fuck. So that's what happened.
Through somebody's backpack.
Yeah, for sure. And it was always some funny shit. But I will always remember that night, that specific night. It was me, you, and Drew. We got there dumbass early. I even remember I didn't even have headphones. Like I didn't have somehow, some way I didn't pack headphones, or the headphones I packed. I don't think there was like a 1/4 inch or an 1/8 inch jack in the mixer.
So you had to do it.
Some crazy fucked up.
You had to
shit.
do without it.
I had to do without it, and it was just, you know, I don't know. It was just. Those were the times, bro. Like, those were good times. Good times for sure. Hell yeah.
Shit, man. Every single time that I look at those pictures, it just makes me think like, damn, how did we do it? We were living like vampires as well, mind you. You know, we would kick it all night, and we wouldn't go to sleep until like 6 a.m. Like the sun was coming up, and it was 6 a.m. and we would do all these crazy things, man.
Hell yeah.
All right, man. We've talked a lot today, and I just want to wrap it up. But I want to give a shout to our sponsors one time, Inca Cola.
Cause I'm drinking and they paying me for it.
Cause I'm drinking and they paying for me. Hey, check it out. Shout to Peru. My brother right here, DJ Epic, was in the mix earlier today. Represent Peru. You know what I mean? I represent Nicaragua all day. Before we sign out, this is Live in the Garage podcast, episode 1. We kept it funky. The lighting is funky. The audio is funky. The technology is funky. And my man came 5 hours late, by the way.
All the way funky.
All the way funky. Funky. You know what I mean? Like we're just gonna make it happen. And that's what live in the garage, in the essence, is all about. We do what we do, and we do what we have. But I do want to end it on this here. I like to do it like a top five MCs, top five songs, whatever, whatnot. But my man DJ Epic, your favorite album of all time?
My favorite album of all time. That's funny because you asked me that the other day, and the first thing I thought of was literally the first album that I had ever listened to all the way through from front to back. Like I literally had a copy of it in my hand. I heard it. I seen it. I was able to pull out the cover. I was able to read the cover, flip through the fucking artwork, which was Snoop Dogg Doggy Style, which was probably my fucking go-to album for years. Like just years. Just the artwork, the era, the production, the fucking just Snoop, the verses, just the album itself was awesome. Dude, it was one of the first albums that I was able to have in my hand and listen to. Then I thought about it. This was how long ago was this? Like 3-4 days ago that you asked me that we got ready for this. And it's weird because that was probably one of the first albums that I've ever listened to all the way through in its entirety to say, damn, I listened to that shit like
at a young age.
At a fucking like super young age. Like elementary school, 93, 4, 5, like early. The first album that I ever purchased that I was able to like go and buy was an Eminem album. Was the first Slim Shady LP.
Classic album.
That was probably for me.
Slim Shady album is
was
dear to
like
my heart.
Early, like 5th, 6th grade. For me, that was my shit. And then so it's Doggy Style, it's Slim Shady LP, and it's Dark and Hell is Hot DMX. Like those three albums. Like my 6th grade year, that fucking DMX album was on repeat for
1998 was strong.
From my house to my elementary to my middle school to 7th grade was probably about a cool 40 minutes. And I would literally play the whole album from when I left to when I got to school. Like that was probably me to say like, this is me. This is what I listen to, and that with the DMX album was my shit. Like I would pray with the fucking pray song. It was just like that album in, I want to say 2001. Nope, probably before that. Like 99.
Okay.
99,
okay.
Maybe early 2000 was my album. Like it was one of those three albums for sure.
I'll go ahead and
it's kind of hard to choose.
But that was the era.
But that was the era. You know what I mean? The Doggy Style early in the 90s, and then the Slim Shady LP, and then it's Dark and Hell is Hot by DMX was like my shit.
Right here, man. My shit is right behind me. It's part of the it's part of the story. It's part of the set right here in my studio.
Yeah.
Let me tell you quickly so we can wrap it up. The first albums, I'll say 2 albums, and this was on tape. This was on cassette tape, and I purchased it out of Sam Goody, out of a Soundflat Mall out here in Hayward. First album, if you can see it right here. Ooh, right here. On the Instagram Live. It's E40's In a Major Way. This is the album that had Sprinkle Me, Sitting Sideways, Hit Me on My Pager. If it's major, hit me on my pager.
That's the one.
Hey,
That's the one.
Man, E40, being able to actually have a conversation with 40 about this album and other stuff is actually a blessing of mine. So shout to E40, the ambassador of the Bay. Much love to E40, man. I've met him so many different times, and I've talked to him about having this album. Along with this album, my first album that is dear to my heart is also Looney's, Operation Stat Cola. So I bought those 2 albums on tape, cassette tape, at the very same time. And this was during a time where I had to hide.
Yes.
I had to hide.
Tell him, bro. Tell him.
I had to hide music from my parents. My mom in particular, because she would find stuff. Always snooping around. But I had to hide these albums under my bed, somewhere in a closet or in a drawer. But I remember these were the first albums that I purchased. on cassette tape with my own money. E40 in a major way, and the Loonies, Operation Stat Cola. So I definitely want to point that out there. That's part of the project here. That's part of the vibe that I'm trying to create with Live in the Garage. And then you mentioned your favorite album is Snoop Dogg, or one of them is Snoop Dogg in the Doggy Style, Snoop Dogg Doggy Style album. And I definitely want to present to you a gift from me to you, the actual vinyl of Snoop Dogg, Doggy Style. So give me 1 second. I'm gonna go grab it, and that's for you, my brother, man. Because you know I got nothing but love for you, man.
Bro, thank you. That's so dope. That's actually really, really awesome. I think that's really, really awesome.
Boom.
Hey, that's hard. Hey.
Boom, boom, right there. This is the album right here, digitally remastered. I'm gonna present it to you, my brother. DJ Epic, this is my gift to you for being part of this podcast, this show, this movement that I'm just here to create as a vibe. But here you go, man. Thank you, man, for being part of this.
Bro, thank you. I appreciate that. That's fucking awesome. Thank you. This album right here,
the whole album,
fucking
on
dope.
vinyl.
Like to be able to read the album, like the little captions on top, it was just so dope. You know what I mean? Like, what year did this come out in? I mean, like, this was 93, 94?
No.
I mean,
what does it say on the bottom?
It doesn't even say. Like, you might have to open it and literally get in it.
Hold on. Let me Wikipedia that motherfucker.
It's definitely Googleable.
Go ahead and talk.
But this shit, like, my uncle put me onto this. This was my uncle's album. This was not something that I had purchased myself. This is my uncle's album. He had this. He would listen. My uncle put me on to Warren G. He put me on Nate Dogg, Snoop. He definitely put me on to like all that 90s early West Coast shit.
My man.
But definitely put me on to the Doggy Style, which was like, I don't know, it was cool. Like, whenever I would get in the car, I would reach into the middle console. I'd grab my uncle's Lokes. I would put on the glasses, and we would slap the Doggy Style all the way. Like, this is so dope to me. Thank you, Will. I appreciate
my brother
Live in the Garage, bro. Thank you for sure.
Hey, it was the year of 1993. 1993. I thought it was 96. I was like, damn, motherfucker. We taking it back. 1993 is when he dropped this album, man, with the classics for the classic songs on there, the classic skits too.
The skits, bro.
The skits are on there.
I feel like these skits
W balls.
Definitely no, for sure. Like, these skits went on and like, these skits, you can hear these skits.
This is DJ Easy
Dick. You can hear these skits in like Kendrick Lamar albums right now. Like, and it's, he said it before. Like, there's no way that these skits didn't go from Snoop to the Game, or no, Snoop to the Chronic to the Game albums, to whatever came after that, to then Kendrick Lamar. Like, the skits in the albums came from West Coast albums. And like, this was one of them. Like, this was one of the ones, and this was one of the ones that I was fucking with, and I'm super excited to have it.
That's
Live
dope.
In the Garage, we in here. Epic, Charlie, Willie Will, we in here, man. Yes,
we're all over the place. Instagram Live. The rest of this interview is going to be up on YouTube pretty soon. I just want to go ahead and close out. My brother right here. Like I said, I can't call too many DJs in this industry. My brother. This is my brother, DJ Epic. Please follow him at Epic Vision, DJ Epic. This is Live in the Garage podcast. DJ William WES signing out. Man, we had a great fun. Lots of fun today. And I just want to say, go ahead and just sign out. Please support. Everything's going to be up on, again, YouTube, Instagram, and also on Mixcloud once everything's uploaded. All right. Thank you. We signing out. Peace.